Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Nikki and we are a little weird around here. We, meaning I'm definitely the weird one. This is such an exciting video. I feel so blessed. So in this video, we are doing my favorite YouTubers pick what I read for a week / like influencers, because I DM'd my favorite YouTubers and my favorite Instagrammers and I did not expect to get any responses back. I was so nervous and I almost deleted everything and I feel so blessed and happy. So thank you! Let's start with one of my favorite creators, Ian. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed with this channel. He is so creative and so fun and you should totally go check him out. And I completely relate to him because he's also a 9-to-5 guy who just does YouTube for fun, and he has like the same taste of like high fantasy that I do. I got recommended from him to read Joe Abercrombie, also recommended me Red Rising by Pierce Brown. He recommended me these. Now, I'm having a hard time picking which one to read because I've had this on my shelves for probably a little over a decade. This is, I believe, a grimdark dark fantasy and you follow like a big cast of characters. It's only a trilogy. It just sounds like a ton of fun and I am a huge fantasy fan. But because of that, I've never read a sci-fi before, and he also recommended me Red Rising, and I feel like this would totally branch me out of the books I currently read. I'm like daunted to read this. I don't know why. I feel like my brain can't like compute science fiction very well. Low-key want to read them both. I'm only gonna pick one. Feel like I want to give this a shot. I will still definitely read this at some point, and thank you so much for your recommendation, and thank you everyone for tuning in. So let's hop into the video. I have reached out to some creators. I'll let you know who they are as we go, and we'll pick our next reads together. Let's jump into this tome of a book. Hello! I'm here to do a check-in in a Target parking lot because that's on brand for me. I found the audiobook on actually YouTube for The First Law, and there's a person pulling up next to me. Hi, hello. I don't care about you. Anyway, for like 10 years of my life, possibly more, this book has been sitting on my shelf. And I'm not exaggerating. If you feel like this book is so intimidating and you find that it might be hard to get into, find it on an audiobook, because this is absolutely hilarious. I love this book so much so far. Honestly, I couldn't tell you what's going on because I feel like there's just so much character buildup right now, and I'm a little over 100 pages in, so I can easily tell you that it is a slow burn book. You're getting to know a whole cast of characters here, and you're on different like places with them. So like Logan right now is out in the middle of effing nowhere, can talk to spirits or eat them. It's so weird. And now he's with the other character that is a wizard who is, name is forgetting me because I just met him a little bit ago and I don't remember what his name is. But we're jumping between that timeline and then this other guy named Giselle, who is a nobleman who has like a lot of money and he just likes to gamble and he's really good at it, and he's also like in training. So we get his training arc also. And then my favorite character, Glockta. Oh my god, I have not laughed out loud so hard in my entire life listening to the audiobook, and I'm doing some journaling and I'm just having him go through this situation where he's like in a dream and then he wakes up and he realizes he like craps himself. Like he's calling for people to help him because he's crippled. And he can't walk. He has like really bad leg, but he's a torturer, so I don't really feel bad for him. But his internal monologue for everything that is going on is so snarky. He's so cunning, and he is just planning constantly, and people are scared of him. Gee, I wonder why. You have this creepy, crippled guy who kills people for the king, and she just looks terrible. And he has a couple other people with him. One of them I don't think has a tongue, so he like makes weird noises. The whole thing is hilarious, and I know this entire book is just gonna be a build-up, because I feel like really a whole lot of nothing is happening, which I think would deter some people who really like a lot of action, like really, really quick. But I'm noticing that Joe Abercrombie wants to actually tell you a story and show you a story. He definitely does more showing than telling, and I love it. I'm absolutely obsessed with it, and it's hilarious, and it's intriguing, and I can't wait to keep reading. Guys, just listen to this on audiobook. If you feel like this is so daunting and you feel like high fantasy is hard for you to start reading, pick up audiobook form, because I tell you what, if you get a perfect narrator, they will make the entire story so much more fun and enjoyable, and I freaking love it, and I can't wait to keep going. But I'm baking in this car, so I'm gonna go home. And I just wanted to give you an update. Toodaloo, weirdos. Guys, friends, weirdos, I have finished I have finished The Blade Itself by Mr. Joe Abercrombie. Honestly, that ending shocked me. Maybe I was in a fever dream. It could have possibly been a fever dream. It could have been. But I finished this. This was a chunky book. This was an adventure all on its own. I think I now understand the love of Joe Abercrombie. Like, the characters were good, that the chapter, The Bloody Nine. And I would highly recommend you listen to this as an audiobook. Those girlies out there, they're a little scared of doing epics, fantasy noirs, grim darks. I think you should try it as an audiobook instead of trying to jump into a physical book. As myself, I have not touched a grimdark before, so that was new for me. I've never read anything by Joe Abercrombie, and I have strayed away from a lot of big fantasies lately, and I read a lot of more YA fantasies and whatnot, so this was nice to come back into the adult world and actually finish one. And I really, really enjoyed it. It's hard to get into, I think. I found myself having to reread chapters to fully understand what is going on, because you are following a cast of characters. There are so many characters, and I feel like this book is a giant prequel, to be 100% honest with you, because it had a lot going on, and my wee brain was like, I don't know what's happening. But that didn't mean I didn't enjoy it, and I do know what is happening. There is this big world plot going on. There is a war brewing, and all of these characters have to go to the end of the world, the edge of the world, to protect humanity as itself. Guys, this was a wonderful book. Wonderful. I had a lot of fun, and thank goodness it's only a trilogy. I will be finishing the rest of this year. But what am I gonna rate it? I think I'm gonna give this a 4 stars, because I think my brain couldn't compute. I know I can read these books. I think I haven't read these books in so long, I forgot how to read these books. So my brain had a hard time taking in the information. It's a beautifully written story. It's a funny story. And honestly, Glockta is my favorite. I could probably go on and on about Glockta. He's fantastic. He makes me laugh. He's really great. Let's also not forget Baez. Baez is also my favorite. I love him. He's hilarious. And Logan too. I like all of our cast of characters. And I know it's only gonna get better. It's hard to get into in the beginning, but as soon as you kind of get into it, it's so good. It's really good. And as I said before, definitely do this as an audiobook. And you want that movie in your head, but you feel like you're gonna be jumping into too much, and those girlies out there, they're intimidated. It's okay to be intimidated. Joe Abercrombie is kind of intimidating, but I think you'll really like it. So thank you, Ian, so much for this recommendation. I understand why you love him so much. I understand the hype you give him. He's awesome. I am absolutely obsessed with this. This was so much fun, and I really enjoyed it. And thank you so much for giving me this recommendation. I think 4 stars is adequate, and I think this might be a 5-star series for me. I have the last 2 to read, so I can't wait to do that, but not in this video. Speaking of this video, we have 2 more people that we'll be doing at the same time. So the first one will be Miss Ashlyn. I love her videos so much. Like, I feel like me and her have like a similar reading style in some way, and I love watching her husband swap videos. Her last little vlog she did reading Emily Henry books. I adore Ashlyn. She's super cute, so much fun. I love her videos. You guys should totally go check her out. She's honestly the cutest thing ever. I love her so much. Anyway, so when I reached out to Ian, they both gave me a recommendation at the same time. So Ian gave me the recommendation to read, obviously, this, but Ashlyn told me to read Pet Sematary. Girl, I am terrified, absolutely terrified. I tried reading Salem's Lot and I got bored over halfway through. I know that's a big beloved book. And then the second time I tried to read Mr. Stephen King, it was The Gunslinger during a 24-hour readathon, but I fell asleep on this couch. So it's like, this is perfect. And I saw recently that she actually gave this a 4.755 stars during her last 24-hour readathon. So today, while I was at work, I have started Pet Sematary. So far, Pet Sematary, it's a lot, and I don't hate it. I actually really enjoy it. Like, I'm having a really good time reading it, and I'm actually really shocked that I like it, and I'm like nervous because I've seen the movie before. I know the premise of Pet Sematary, okay? I'm aware of what's gonna happen. It's just the anticipation of it happening, and then like obviously everything else going on in the book. Right now, I am Libby 44. Hold on, will it focus? 44% through this book right now. I still have another 8 hours left to listen to this, and a lot has happened. A lot has happened. I have a lot of questions, and I would like them answered. I'm a little bit spooked. I low-key hate the cat situation. I'm nervous for how this is gonna go. I have the adrenaline definitely a pumping. I'm at work and I'm getting grossed out, worried, not like scared, but I'm unnerved. And I'm really enjoying the storytelling that Stephen King does. It's one thing that I have noticed about anything for Stephen King. He's a wonderful storyteller. He knows how to set a scene. He knows how to get that picture in your head. Then he just sets you on this path of utter disaster or utter awe or something. It's just something happens and he just writes it super good. So right now, as far as me reading this, I am loving it. I'm actually really liking it, and this is my first horror book. Thank you. So I will be doing periodic check-ins when I can, but I also want to talk about the next person. So she goes by The Book Script on Instagram, but this is Lauren. I am obsessed with her Instagram. She has my heart for sure. I love how aesthetically pleasing they are. You are slaying. And I am so proud of you. I wish my Instagram game was up this high. Like, hers is so aesthetic. I'm obsessed with how beautiful her pictures are. When I reached out to Lauren, she actually decided that I should read The Heiress. I haven't read that yet, and she had a lot of fun reading it, so I told her I was going to read it for this video. So thank you, Lauren, for this. I am so excited to read this, and I love me a thriller. I think it might have some sort of fantasy element in it, because it had something about changelings in the very beginning. So it makes me wonder, this might be like a thriller slash fantasy, I think? I don't really know what this is about, but if you're a long-time viewer of my channel, you know I really like to go in blind for a lot of books. I like to be thrown into the wolves, essentially. I like to figure it out on my own and be like, what the heck did I just read? Thank you, Lauren, so much for the recommendation. I'm going to be jumping into that here at home. So we will be starting this together, and at the same time as I listen to Pet Sematary while I'm at work. So I am giving them undivided attention, because I feel like that's only fair for me to do. So thank you guys so much for these recommendations. I'm so excited to continue these books and start this book. Hello! I'm actually here to talk about Stephen King's Pet Sematary, and this is gonna be not only like a check-in but also a wrap-up. I finished Pet Sematary today. First off, this is one of my first ever Stephen King novel that I've 100% finished. I thought it was deranged, kind of sad and depressing, but not scary. Where do I begin with this book? First, it's heavy. Like, you get like the sense of dread as soon as this book starts. Like, you know there is some heavy doom on this family in particular from page 1, basically. The whole plot, the whole build-up of this book, and like comparing it to the movie, is so different. You are hit with dread as soon as they show up. There's this bad accident that starts on Lewis's first day at work, to the trauma that his wife went through about death, and then like the Pet Sematary itself, and then the overarching doom as soon as Church says goodbye. It's so insane. It's so crazy, and it was so good. Like, you are like wanting to scream at these characters to tell them to stop, but you're also like in awe of like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Well, I mean, you can't do anything to stop it, so you just kind of like let it happen. And that ending, as soon as things started to happen, if you know, if like the accident happens, it feels like the first parts of the book is like this build-up of what you are anticipating to happen, and then it hits the second part after the accident, and everything just breaks. Everything is just like put loose, and it's so nuts. And that ending, I have questions that I don't think will be answered. I think there are some things that I would like to know because of that ending. I remember finishing it at work today and being like, that's it? That's it? Like, that's all I get? Like, I don't get any more out of this? As someone who's read a horror book for the first time, I think I can honestly say I liked it. I actually have a lot of fun doing it, and I think
that was something completely out of my comfort zone. Not only did Ian get me out of my comfort zone with a different kind of genre for fantasy, Ashlyn did that too, with it telling me to read Stephen King. So to both of them, thank you for that, because I've now found authors and stories that I really enjoy, because now I just want to listen to another Stephen King novel or read another Stephen King novel. I'm flabbergasted with that ending. It was insanity, but it was so good. As someone who does not like scary things, and I don't like that kind of feel, I would highly recommend this book. I'm in between a 3.5 and a 4 for this book, because it was so different and way out of my comfort zone, and I really like it. And now I have something I can connect with my mother-in-law about, because she loves Stephen King. That was exciting. So for that recommendation, thank you, Ashlyn. I loved it. It was really good. The next book I think we're going to talk about is The Heiress. Right now, I think I'm about 23-25% of the way through. I don't know what this book is about. I'm having a hard time figuring out, like, the atmosphere of this book, because to me, in the beginning, it felt like a romance, which doesn't make any sense at all. But I think maybe that was just like the headspace I was trying to get into with the book, which is clearly not, because this whole book is about this woman named Ruby, I believe, and she's an heiress to this estate, and she has a ton of money, and she has this adopted son named Camden, and according to Camden, it was pretty bad living with her, and the whole family was pretty bad. His adopted mother passed away, and somehow she's gotten a nickname of, like, I don't want to say a Black Widow, but she killed her husbands, or at least alleged killed her husbands. The whole thing is like a thriller about the inheritance of the house, is what I'm going to assume this is. There's clearly like this overarching doom that Camden has when he's like approaching the estate. There's something else about this, like the family is weird. The reasoning why, you know, she died. They think it might have not been normal. And then like every chapter it ends with like a letter from Ruby, I'm going to assume, to Camden. I can't give you an idea of what is happening. All I know is that Camden does not want to go back to this house. His family is freaking nuts and mean and weird, and his wife is there along for the ride because of some other alternative motive that she has. That's all I got. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that there's something else starts to happen in this book, and I hope things pick up, because I have a feeling this book is going to be good. I just trying to figure out what is going on. Let's get this book done, shall we? Alright guys, goodbye. It has been a mini moon since I've sat on this floor and talked to you about The Heiress. Now, I finished this book on the 10th, so it has been about 6 days. This book, I don't know what I read. I don't think it was really my favorite, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think this was in any way a bad book. I think I just caught on too fast. I didn't get like a Riley Sager whiplash or anything. It didn't give me a thriller feel very much. It just felt like a story. Like, it just was telling a story about this crooked family and these crooked things that happen and this crooked woman, and page 1 it starts talking about changelings, and I'm thinking, okay, this has to be a fantasy book. It's different. I don't think I would not recommend this book. I think it was okay. It was fine. It's just, I found myself like, okay, so when am I gonna start having like my main character get killed? There was never really a threat So I feel like you can't really call this a thriller. And if you like quick page turner books and you like the kind of the statusy kind of mystery novel, I think you'll really like it. You are basically the detective and there's 3 people telling you the story of how things are going on. I guess to me, a good way for me to put it is like, you know those murder mystery games that you can get, like a subscription box or something, and then you're trying to like figure out the clues and like putting the whole thing together? That's what this book feels like to me. It felt like I got a whole bunch of puzzle pieces and I had 3 people telling me a story and I used all of that as context clues throughout the book and you could figure out the plot. So if you like that kind of thing, I think you would really like it. Thank you, Lauren, so much for giving me this recommendation. I did have a lot of fun. I haven't really like touched base with any of her writing before, so this was definitely different. And I liked it. It was fun. I think I might give this book maybe a 3 stars. I think a lot of you guys would really enjoy it. So for that, I would definitely recommend this book. Once again, to the content creators, to my favorite YouTubers and Instagrammers, thank you, thank you, thank you for responding, because I did not at all think that I would get a response. This is going to be only part 1 out of part 2. Because I cannot read all these books in 1 week. It has been a wonderful journey reading these books my favorite content creators have curated for me to read. And you should guys definitely go check out Lauren and Ian and Ashlyn. Until part 2 of this wonderful, wonderful journey that I'm on right now, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!